Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suranjali Seal, and like I always say, if you are somebody who loves literature, then this is the channel for you. And if you're someone who is also seeking to enhance your grammar and vocabulary skills, then this is the place to be. So in our video today, we're going to continue discussing some of the important idioms that we use in our day-to-day lives. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So the first idiom that we're going to discuss today is this one, all Greek to me. Now, I have to tell you this again, I'm repeating it again, that idioms and grammar, the rules of grammar, idioms, synonyms, antonyms, these are things that you have to understand. These are things that you have to practice, and then only it'll get better. You cannot mug up grammar. If you there's so many idioms from A to Z, there's so many idioms that you have to remember, so you cannot mug all of them up. It's impossible. You cannot mug them up. You have to understand them. If you understand the idioms, then you can use them in your day-to-day lives a lot better, a lot easily. So all Greek to me over here, the first idiom that we're going to discuss. Also, I'll give you a historical context, a historical background. If you understand where these idioms come from, then you can actually remember them better. So all Greek to me also has a historical context, okay? Idioms are something, there are many hundreds of idioms that have been in use for hundreds of years. Okay, idioms are not invented recently. There are many idioms in the English language that have been in use for hundreds of years. We've been using them for years together now. So even all Greek to me is like that. At a time when this idiom was used, when we started using this idiom, right? There was a time in history where Europeans, right, the European nations did not understand ancient Greek. Ancient Greek was a language that many European countries did not understand. European people did not speak, did not understand ancient Greek. Okay, so when we say all Greek to me, this idiom came to be used for anything that you don't understand, because Greek was a language that you don't understand, right? Suppose I'm just giving an example. This is just an example, don't take me literally. Suppose I don't understand maths, okay? I suppose somebody is giving me formulas and I don't like maths, I don't like using formulas, I just don't like maths at all. Next time if somebody comes and tells me something and I don't understand it, somebody comes and shows me, say, computers, and I don't understand it, I'll say, what is all of this? This is all maths to me. It's like maths to me. Then somebody comes and gives me an information which I don't understand. I'll say, oh my God, this is just like maths to me. Why am I saying this? Because maths is something I don't understand or I don't like. It's like that. I'm just giving an example, okay? Don't take me literally. I have nothing against the subject maths, but I'm giving an example just to highlight, okay? Suppose it's something difficult that you don't understand, you'll start using it like that. Similarly, for this also, all Greek to me, many Europeans did not understand ancient Greek. Now we use this idiom to mean anything that we don't understand. So you see a maths formula and you don't understand, you'll say it's all Greek to me. Somebody comes and gives you an information, okay, that you don't understand or cannot comprehend, you'll say it's all Greek to me. Somebody calls you on the phone and it's talking to you about some topic that you're not understanding, it's all Greek to you. What does this actually mean then? It means something that is incomprehensible or difficult to understand, something that you cannot understand. It's used when someone is presented with information that is confusing and beyond their grasp or comprehension, something you cannot decode. So historical context, the phrase likely originated from the fact that ancient Greek was a language unfamiliar to many Europeans. They did not know this language. And figurative meaning, it has evolved. Now we use it to describe anything that is hard to understand, not just the Greek language, it can be anything. Then usage, when somebody says it's all Greek to me, they are expressing that they cannot understand something, whether it's a complex topic, a foreign language, or a confusing situation. Okay, so I think this is clear now. We're going to go to the next idiom, above board. Now, above board, we've heard of overboard, okay? It in context of ships, right? Man is overboard, that means they have fallen out of the ship. But above board, what does it mean? Now, I'll give you a historical context, or maybe a context. It's not a historical context, general context, okay? What does this mean? It's very interesting. You have played card games. If you know poker or if you know any card game, right? In order for you to avoid cheating, there's a rule, okay? There's a rule. So that you don't cheat, you have to always keep your hands on top of the table. Suppose you have cards laid out in poker, okay? I've given a picture here, see? You have to keep your hands on the table, both your hands on the table, to avoid the chance of cheating. That is, you cannot take your cards below under the table and maybe, cheat. You cannot maybe take one card aside and cheat. You have to always keep your hands on the table so that we can see your hands, so that the other players who are playing with you, they can see your hands to avoid the chance of you cheating. So above board comes from that. Okay, above board means that something is honest, open and legitimate, with no hidden intentions or deceit. It implies that actions or arrangements are carried out in a fair and transparent manner according to the rules and the law. Okay, I'll tell you this again. The idiom above board originates from the practice of keeping your hands above the table during card games to prevent cheating. This ensured transparency and fair play. That is, when you put your hands above board, okay, it ensures what? Transparency. That is, there's no deceit, there's no disloyalty, that is, there's no cheating. And fair play, that is, you play according to the rules. If you take your hands off the board and you try to cheat, that's against the rules, right? So you have to keep according to the rules. That is, it's legitimate. You have to have fair play. Then and then only can the game be legitimate, right? You have to play according to the rules, as players couldn't easily hide or manipulate cards beneath the table. The term board in this context refers to the gaming table. So in this sense, above board means something is honest, you're not cheating. Open, that is, it's fair play, everybody can see it, everyone can understand it, you're not cheating anyone. And legitimate, that is, it's by the rule of law. Legitimate, that is, anything that you can use this idiom wherever there's rule of law. Say, you can say that the court hearing was above board, that is, everything was open, honest and legitimate. You can say the company's tally, like the turnover was above board, that is, open, honest and legitimate. Anywhere where a formal setting or anywhere where there are rules involved, right, you can use this above board there. So with no hidden intentions or deceit, it implies that actions or arrangements are carried out in fair, transparent manner according to the rules of law. So there are three terms you have to remember as far as this idiom is concerned. The first is honest. There is no trickery or dishonesty involved. Second is open, that is, fair play. Everything is done in a clear and transparent way with no secrets. And third is legitimate. The actions or arrangements are legal and above suspicions, are legal according to the rules. Okay, so this is done. Now we have an axe to grind. Okay, an axe to grind also has a background. Okay, I'll explain this to you. Now, this idiom also originated from a story, okay, in the 1800s. It originates from a story written by Charles Minor in the early 1800s. So you see, hundreds of years have passed and we're using this idiom even today. So what is the story about? In this story, a man flatters a boy into turning a grindstone to sharpen his axe, leaving the boy unpaid and feeling used. Okay. Not so confusing, I'll tell you. You are the boy, I am the man, suppose, from the story. Now, I have an axe. Okay, I need to sharpen the axe. How do you sharpen the axe? Now we have knife sharpeners, but those are the times where you have to grind, you have to turn the grindstone. You have to turn the grindstone, put the axe in between, and it'll sharpen. Okay, it'll sharpen. So you are the boy, I am the man. Now, I'll tell you that you turn the grindstone. You keep turning the grindstone, and I will sharpen my axe. Or you turn the grindstone, I'll sharpen my axe. What will you tell me? That, yeah, pay me in return. You'll ask me for payment, right? I'll give you, say, either I'll give you rent, I'll give you payment, I'll give you wages, or I'll give you food, or I'll give you shelter. Some kind of payment I'll give you in cash or in kind. I should give you because I'm making you work. But instead of paying you in any way, instead of paying you, I butter you, I flatter you, I say good things about you. So every day you come to me and I'll say, you're such a good human being. Nobody in this town is like you. I'll go and tell everybody in the village that there's nobody like you. You are the best. The kind of person that you are, I will never be able to repay you back. I'll say, such a human being, I've never seen you. I'll flatter you. And when you're grinding the grindstone, right, when you're turning the grindstone, I'll say, you are such a strong human being. You have such valor, such courage. You are helping me out. You're so kind. And I'm not paying you. I mean, for the physical labor that you're doing, you want to get paid, but I'm not paying you. And you're just turning the grindstone every day. And at a point, you'll feel used, right? You'll feel bad that every day you're giving your labor and I'm not giving you anything in return. So from here, this led to the metaphorical meaning of having a hidden agenda or a personal motive in a situation rather than being objective. Okay, that is, in a situation, this whole story where I'm making you work and I'm flattering you not genuinely, I'm flattering you so that I can make you work and I don't even have to pay you for it. So I have a hidden agenda. My hidden agenda is to make you grind the grindstone. My hidden agenda is to make you sharpen my axe. It is actually my job to do it. I have to do it. But I'm making you do it by giving you flattery. And flattery also, I'm not doing it because I care about you. I'm doing it because my motive is for you to work without payment, right? So from here, this idiom has come, that it means someone has a selfish motive or a personal reason for doing something, often hidden or ulterior. That is, if a friend or somebody who you never talk to suddenly is friendly with you, this person has an axe to grind. Somebody is giving you cakes and chocolates and giving you all sorts of things. This person has without any reason, this person might have an axe to grind. If there's somebody who's, taking you out for roaming, somebody who has never spoken to you before and now suddenly starts speaking to you, this person has an axe to grind. So an axe to grind, okay, it suggests that they have a personal stake in the matter which influences the actions or opinions. Selfish motive, the core meaning revolves around having a hidden agenda or a personal benefit that drives their behavior. So I hope that these three idioms are clear to you now. So all Greek to me you can understand. That means that you cannot understand or comprehend something. Above board means it has to be honest, open and legitimate. And an axe to grind means whatever somebody is doing, their actions and opinions, behind their actions and opinions there's always a hidden motive, a hidden agenda. Okay, so this three is done. We're going to move on to the next set of idioms. Okay, so now we're going to look at this one, Achilles' heel. Okay, so Achilles' heel refers to a vulnerability or weakness, especially in an otherwise strong person or thing. It signifies a critical flaw that can lead to failure or downfall, even in the face of overall strength or success. So nothing to brainstorm there. Okay, this is also from ancient ancient Greek mythology. Okay, there's this Greek myth about a person or a figure called Achilles, and there's a history to it. Again, I'll explain to you what does this myth, okay, it's a myth or a legend, and what is his story. Achilles was known to be the strongest person. He had no vulnerabilities. Okay, Achilles, his mother, okay, I'll read out the myth to you and I'll explain it. According to the myth, Achilles' mother, okay, Thetis, wanted to make her son immortal. Immortal, that is, he'll never die. Okay, he'll never die. No man, no human being, no animal, nothing can kill him. She dipped him in the river Styx, but held him by his heel, leaving that part untouched by the magical water. So there's a magical water where you can bathe in it, you can, like dive into it, and you'll become immortal. Wherever, the water will touch, you'll be immortal. But I'll give you an example where, okay, suppose this is a water bottle, okay. So what his mother did was she caught Achilles' heel, like he caught the leg, right? She caught the leg like this, and he was upside down, like she turned him over like this, right? So she was catching his leg and she just dipped him into the water. She just poured him into the water. Now his whole body was immersed in the water, so he was like, this whole body was immortal, was invulnerable. Okay, his whole body was protected, but this part where she caught this little part where she actually caught him, this part was not dipped into the water. Her hand is blocking it, could not go into the water. So the myth is that later when he was killed, right, an arrow hit him in this part only, like this part of the leg, it hit him where the water did not touch him, right? That's where the arrow had hit him, in his heel, okay, in his heel, and that's how he died. So vulnerability, this made Achilles invulnerable everywhere except for his heel, because she caught him like this, so everywhere he was protected except his heel, which became his Achilles' heel. We call it Achilles' heel. Downfall, during the Trojan War, Achilles was struck by an arrow in his heel, and this wound proved fatal. This wound proved fatal. That is, that arrow killed him. Okay, it proved fatal, leading to his death. So the idiom, the phrase Achilles' heel, is now used as a metaphor for any weakness or vulnerability that can lead to downfall, even in someone or something that is otherwise strong. So imagine you're all strong, okay, you have all good qualities, but suppose there's a trait that you talk too much. So that's your Achilles' heel. Somebody will say his talking too much is going to be his Achilles' heel. It's going to lead to his downfall. Or you can say her Achilles' heel is her tendency to trust people easily. It'll lead to her downfall because she trusts people very easily. So, those are the things. Anything that can be a vulnerability in a person is known as their Achilles' heel. And the next one that we're dealing with here is the idiom acting up. Now this is very easy, okay? Acting up generally means to behave badly, especially in a way that is disruptive or troublesome. So it can also refer to a machine or a body part not functioning properly. So two things, it can be a behavior or it can be something mechanical or something like a thing, okay? A thing or a person, anything that is not behaving properly. Suppose you are a very polite, introvertish, quiet kind of an individual, and suddenly you just become rowdy and aggressive and angry and you just start shouting randomly. So your friends will tell you, why are you acting up? As in, usually you're very calm and quiet and suddenly you just burst out, right? Like a volcano. So people will say, why are you acting up? A child, have you seen, it's actually behaving badly. It's not even about being rude. It's not about being angry or aggressive. It's behaving badly, and it's usually applied to children. You see those children, sometimes I think you've seen this in your day-to-day lives, very small children, when they go to the shop and they want a ball or they want something for their parents and the parents don't give them. They say that please buy me this chocolate, and the parents say that no, I cannot buy you. Then you see some children really behave badly. They start throwing their hands and crying and stomping their feet. I've also seen children just sit down on the ground and behave really badly when they want something. So that's acting up. It means that otherwise you're genuinely fine, generally you're okay, but suddenly you get this bad behavioral tendencies, where you completely change, you flip, and you just start acting in a way that you don't usually act. So I've seen this in children. Behaviorally, when someone, particularly a child, acts up, it means that they are misbehaving. So like I said, you might have seen children, okay, when they go out to shops, this is what happens. They throw hands, or they, I've seen children hitting their parents also. Kids, okay, very small kids, they don't understand. So they want a ball or they want a chocolate. This is how they behave. So being naughty or causing trouble. For example, the children were acting up in the waiting room. Okay, so this is just behaviorally, but malfunction when it comes to a thing or a machine. Acting up can also describe a machine or a part of the body that is not working correctly or is experiencing problems. So my car is acting up again, or my knee has been acting up lately. In a sense, acting up implies a departure from the expected or normal behavior, whether it's a person or a thing. So suppose you walk normally and suddenly you have knee pain. So you'll tell your friend that only, that my knee has been acting up. That generally, behaviorally, in a person also, in a thing also, in a body part also, anything that functions normally, your printer is functioning normally and suddenly it malfunctions. So you'll say my printer has been acting up lately. You have a camera that functions properly, phone functions properly, but suddenly now your phone hangs. So if your phone hangs, you'll say that my phone has been acting up. That means lately it has changed. Lately it's proving to be a problem. Lately somebody has been misbehaving. So here too, your body part, your knee is suddenly started to ache, your knee aches, or your back aches. So you say my back has been acting up lately, or my knee has been acting up. That is, generally you're fine, but over the past few days or suddenly it has acted up. So this is acting up and Achilles' heel. Now we're going to move on further. The next idiom that we're going to talk about is this one, appeal to Caesar. Now, appeal to Caesar refers to appealing to the highest authority, particularly in the legal context. Okay, so this is legally, this has to do with laws, and it's someone who you appeal to, your highest authority. Now, this too has a background, this too has a historical context, so we're going to look at that first. Roman law. In the Roman Empire, Caesar was the ultimate legal authority. Julius Caesar, right? So Julius Caesar was the ultimate legal authority in the Roman Empire. So a citizen could appeal a case to him effectively, asking for a review by the highest court. So if anybody had any problem, they could appeal to him. They could ask him that you give us the decision. You give us the decision on what to do. So in modern usage today, when someone says that they are appealing to Caesar, they are indicating they are taking their case to the highest level of power or the ultimate decision maker. So Caesar, okay, Julius Caesar was the highest authority. Anyone, okay, in any case could appeal to him, could ask him to give a judgment. He was the highest authority. What he said was believed. What he said was followed. What he said was the rule of law. So he could give judgments also. Same way, in modern usage today, whenever we appeal to the highest authority in any institution, even at home, for example, in school, when you say say I have detention or I have punishment, so, or you have been called, your parents have been called, or you've some kind of trouble you're in, so you want to ask the principal to pardon you. So what will you tell your friends? I have to make an appeal to Caesar. In this case, your appeal to Caesar is whom? The principal, the highest authority. You have to appeal to Caesar. You need to go get permission to go out with your friends, to hang out overnight. Okay, so you say, I have to appeal to Caesar, yeah? In this case, who are you going to ask? Your parents. You're going to ask your father or the mother, right? You're the highest authority in the house. You're going to ask permission from them. So in this case, your father becomes the subject. Appeal to Caesar. You'll say, I'll have to appeal to Caesar, yeah. Your friends will say, come, let's go out. I'll say, I have to appeal to Caesar, yeah. So either I'll go to my father and say that, can I go out? That means I'm appealing to him. Or I can go to my mother and say, can I go out? Because I'm appealing to her. So my father or mother will determine whether I will get to go out or not. They'll give their judgments. Well, I'll be allowed to go or not, the permission. Similarly, in your school institution, when you say, I'm going to appeal to Caesar, it's going to be the highest authority, the principal. In any kind of situation, in the banks, in your service sector, in any sector, in even companies, when you say I have to appeal to Caesar, it is the highest authority. So ultimate authority, the phrase appeal to Caesar, came to represent the act of seeking the judgment from the highest possible authority, the one with the final say. Anyone with the final say is going to say it. Okay, so for example, it's not just about asking permission, it's about judgments also. Anything, what do you think about anything where you appeal to the highest authority? In a household setting, in a professional setting, in a peer group also, anywhere where there's the highest authority you appeal to. So that time you'll use this phrase that I'm going to make an appeal to Caesar. So this is done. We're going to the next idiom, alarums and excursions. Okay, alarums. Okay, alarums. How does it sound like? It sounds like an alarm, right? Alarm. And alarm is what? It wakes you up. It rings right in the morning and it wakes you up. Is an alarm, is it pleasant sounding? It's not. An alarm, usually, how do we set an alarm? We set a ringtone or we set a tone which will wake you up in the morning, right? So usually alarm is not pleasant for any of us. When we sleep, an alarm is used to wake us up. Even fire alarms also are loud. Okay, they're loud so that they get the attention of the ones who are hearing it, who are listening to it. So alarms is loud. An excursion, what is an excursion? It is a short journey or trip, especially one taken as a leisure activity, a deviation from a regular activity, of course. So in schools and colleges and universities, we have excursions. We go with our classmates and our teachers, we go out roaming. It's a leisure activity. We don't follow rules there. Sometimes, it's very for teachers like us also, it's very hard to control the group because they're young students who are going out with their friends, and usually they're very hyped up. So you see, excursions is like that. It's a leisure activity. People are hyped up, they're happy, they're going from here to there, moving around. It's a period of activity. So alarm is again high sounding. Okay, it's high sounding and loud. And excursion also is a leisure activity, is a happy activity, is a hyped up activity where everybody is out without any proper rules of an institution. You're out there roaming. So from there this idiom comes. Alarms and excursions means frantic activity. Frantic, alarm, right? Frantic. Okay, very hubbub. You're moving here and there fast and not in a proper way. Okay, in a haywire way. It's a frantic activity that causes a clamor. That is a lot of noise, a lot of sound is being made by you, a lot of disturbance is caused by that. So for example, the armies were not far off and there were alarms and excursions all along the border. Armies were far, alarms and excursions along the border. People were running from here to there, a lot of sound, a lot of noise, a lot of screaming. So all along the border, confused activity and uproar, clamor, excitement and feverish or disordered activity. There's no order. So alarms and excursions is like that. There's a lot of activity, lot of disorder. There's no set rule. there's an uproar, clamor, excitement. Okay, so this is alarums and excursions. I hope you understand that. Frantic activity, full of excitement, full of uproar, no set rules, no set order. It's a disorderly activity. Okay, so this is alarums and excursions. And then we have it's all in a day's work. Now when we, it's all in a day's work, when we look on the surface level, right, we feel like it means that in a day how much work you can do, in one day how much work you have done, that is all, it's all in a day's work. But it's not. The idiom does not mean it's all in a day's work, does not mean that it's the work that you have done in a day. This also has a meaning. I'll read it out to you. It's all in a day's work means that something difficult, unusual, or unpleasant is considered a normal or routine part of someone's job or life. So something, it's all in a day's work. That means something which is not used to, you are not used to, somebody else is doing it as a routine part of their life. For example, nurses, I've mentioned it here. It implies that the person is accustomed to dealing with such situations and doesn't mind or is not fazed by them. That is, see, doctors operating a patient, they're not fazed by the blood that they see. They're not fazed by the organs that they are exposed to, doctors. But for normal people like you and I, some of us might be fazed by it. Similarly, nurses, when they clean up vomit, somebody is vomiting and they're cleaning up vomit and taking care, it's a day-to-day activity for them. They have to do it. They're nurses, right? And this is something that they have chosen to do. And on the other hand, for some of us that might not be a daily routine. For some of us that might be, we might be fazed by it. It might affect us in a different way. So if a nurse has to clean up vomit, that might be considered all in a day's work because it's a component part of their job. Similarly, for war persons or war reporters, dodging bullets might be seen as all in a day's work. That's something that they are used to doing, but we are not used to. Okay, because it's a risk they face regularly. So the idiom highlights the idea of accepting challenging or difficult tasks as part of a larger expected routine. So something that might be very unusual for you and me, it's usual for the other person. It's part of their day-to-day job. So it suggests that the person is not easily surprised or bothered by things that others might find unusual or difficult. So I hope this is clear. Now we're going to move on further. So the next idiom that we're going to concern ourselves with is this one. All roads lead to Rome. Now this is very, very interesting. Now in the ancient Roman Empire, a system of roads were built, and all these roads are across Europe, they come and connect in the same point. Now I've included a map over here. Look at this. This is the map of Europe, okay? And Rome is somewhere over here. See, I'm just marking it. Rome is somewhere here. Now you see all those like nerves, right? Like veins. These are roads, okay, across Europe. Now during the ancient Roman Empire, a vast network of roads were built. These are roads, okay. All of these vein-like structures are roads. And no matter where you are, you see all these roads come and connect in one point, which is Rome. All these roads led to the city of Rome. So the phrase originated from the historical fact that the Roman Empire built a vast and efficient network of roads that all connected to the city of Rome. So all roads lead to Rome would mean that no matter what methods you apply, you'll come back to the same point. That is, in your exam, we all give competitive exams, suppose, okay? Now we all have different ways of studying. You make notes, I make flashcards, some other person say watches videos, another person says, we all have different modes of reading also. Some of us take hard copy, some of us take ebooks, okay? So what I'm saying, some of us study PDFs. So we have all different ways of studying. It's either, we also practice tests, and the way we approach our studies also is different. But what is the goal? The goal is to pass the exam. So whether you use flashcards or practice tests, all roads lead to Rome when it comes to acing your exam. So the idiom all roads lead to Rome means that there are many different ways to achieve the same goal or result. Okay, you can, suppose while baking, you can use machines also, you can use your hand also, but the goal is what? To make a cake. So it emphasizes that the path or the method chosen is not as important as the final outcome. Your outcome should be important. You use any method, but your outcome should be either passing the test, baking a cake, getting the job done. So this is all roads lead to Rome. The next one is Away with the Fairies. Now this has to do with folklore. It has to do with myths and legends, okay? Now there are many legends especially in the Irish folklores, no, they focus on fairies, fairy tales, fairies, right? The persona and the qualities and the characteristics of fairies. So what does away with the fairies means? Fairies means they are mythical creatures. They're not real. We believe that they are not real. Many folklores believe that they are real. But in general, I'm saying away with the fairies. That means in an imaginary land. You're going to an imaginary fantasy world, right? Away with the fairies. So this idiom means giving the impression of being mad, distracted, or in a dream world. Away with the fairies, because these are characters, or these are, elements of folklore. These are elements of, say, fantasy and usually myths and legends. Okay, so based around the common belief in Celtic and the British Isles folklore that fairies were prone to either kidnapping people or robbing them of their wits, to behave in a strange way that seems to be out of touch with reality. Fairies, away with the fairies. Fairies, folklore, dream world, that means out of touch with reality, in a dream world, fantasy world. So it comes from the folklore tradition of fairies, okay, where fairies were believed to kidnap you and then rob you of your sanity. So I've also included a book over here just as a recommendation. I've also I mentioned this in Instagram also, in my Instagram account, The Story Collector. Okay, this is also based on Irish folklore and it is based on fairies. So if you are interested in reading a lot about Irish folklore and getting to know about fairies, this is a fictional book, of course, but it's a very nice one. It's a very cozy spring summer read. You can read it. So The Story Collector also depicts this, okay, the qualities and nature of fairies. So this is very nice. So this is the thing, away with the fairies means that the impression of being mad, distracted in a dream world, or not in touch with reality. And all roads lead to Rome means no matter what method you apply, you come to the same goal or outcome. So now we're going to move on further. So we're going to begin with the next set of idioms. So the first one is all and sundry. All means all of us. Sundry means various, okay. It's sundry means of various kinds or several. So all and various kinds. So it means everyone without exception or distinction, okay. Everyone includes all of us. I think this is very easy. I don't have to explain this. Everyone means all and sundry without any distinction. So it refers to all people or things without signaling or singling out any specific individuals or categories. You cannot pinpoint and pick out who. It's everyone included. Everyone is included. Just remember all and sundry, all and various kinds, like all different kinds of people, different kinds of things all together, including everyone. Okay. So for example, if a notice is sent to all and sundry, it means it was sent to every single person, not just a select few. For example, your votes, okay, your votes. The voting system, it includes all and sundry, or the voting system is all and sundry, okay, includes all and sundry. That means everyone without distinction, without any kind of distinction. It includes everyone, okay, this universal adult franchise, all of this. So I think this is easy. The next one is also easy. Adam's ale. This idiom refers to water. It is a phrase alluding to the biblical figure Adam, who, according to the story, only had water to drink in the Garden of Eden. I think you know who's Adam, you know what's Garden of Eden. So when Adam was in the Garden of Eden, he had nothing else, except water to drink. He only had water to drink, and that's what we refer to Adam's ale. That is, you drink. Ale is usually referred to drink, as in alcohol, ale, okay. But here we are referring to water. Adam's ale, because he had nothing else. Where will he get alcohol and all from? He was not given those things. Only water was there. So in the Garden of Eden, Adam had only water to drink. So we refer to that as Adam's ale. Adam's ale is water. So it's essentially a humorous or old-fashioned way of saying water. So Adam's ale means water. Okay, just remember that. Now the next one, the next idiom, against the grain. This is also very, very interesting. All right. It has to do with carpentry. I'll explain to you how. If you say that an idea or action goes against the grain, you mean that it is very difficult for you to accept it or do it because it conflicts with your previous ideas, beliefs, or principle. Against the grain. Now, of course, you'll understand, okay, against my principles, against my values. We all use these words, right? I cannot do this, it's against my principle. We say, right? It's against my values. This is against what I believe in. This is against my belief system. So, similarly, against the grain. But why are we using the word grain? Why are we using grain? in carpentry, this has to do with woodworking, okay? In carpentry, the grain refers to the direction of the wood fibers. When sawing, okay, or planning wood, okay, it's much easier to work with the grain along its direction. Working against the grain across it is more difficult, requiring more force and often resulting in splintering or a rougher finish. So, when you're cutting a piece of wood, you know what is a grain, right? Wait, I'm giving you the picture over here. See, this is wood, okay, the wood, the round ones at the block of wood, okay, you can see the piece of wood. Now, you have grains, right, in the wood, the grains, the patterns, no? If you cut a piece of wood, you can see the grains inside the pattern of the wood. You can see it, right? So, those are the grains. If you cut in the direction of the grain, okay, if you cut it in the direction of the grain, so it's easier to cut the block of wood. But if you cut against the direction of the grain, then it becomes harder. You have to use more force. Like you have to just push and push and push, and then only you can actually break it down. So, it results in a rougher finish. It's not smooth, it's rougher because you're working against the direction of the grain. Okay, so you see these are different textures. See this, these are all different textures. Okay, these textures are achieved according to how you cut the wood. If you cut it towards the grain, against the grain, whichever side, according to your cuts, no, you'll get these textures. Okay, these are the textures you get. So working against the grain is more difficult, requiring more force and resulting in splinters or a rougher finish. The idiom "go against the grain" extend this physical concept to figurative situations. This concept, the physical concept, that when you go towards it, towards the grain, if you cut, then it's easier. If you go against the grain, then it's harder. You take this, it signifies acting in a way that is contrary to one's natural disposition, beliefs, or what is customary or expected. That is acting opposite to your values, opposite to your beliefs. So we say, right, this is against my principle. It's the same thing. Against my principle, against my values, against my beliefs, against my character. I am not going to do this. Against the grain, that means you're doing something. If you do something that is against your belief system, that is going against the grain. Example, someone might say, it goes against the grain to be dishonest. Similarly, if you say it goes against my principle to lie, to be dishonest, same thing. It goes against the grain to be dishonest. So I hope this is clear. Now we're going to move on to the last set of idioms. So the last two idioms are comparatively easy, okay. The idiom "assume as," okay, means to behave in a way that suggests one is important or superior than others. Assume, that is, in reality you might not be superior to anyone, but you assume as. You assume that you're superior to everyone. As, that you're flying in the air, right? We say assume. Remember, assume as doesn't mean you're actually superior. Assume as means you believe that you're superior. Whether in reality you're superior or not, that doesn't matter. You believe that you're superior. So it's a superiority complex, we say. So it implies a deliberate attempt to appear sophisticated, wealthy, or of higher social standing than one actually is. That is, you might not be, but you're pretending to be, or you assume yourself to be, or you show off yourself to be like that. Often through affected or pretentious behavior. You pretentious behavior, okay. So this is very easy. Essentially, it describes someone who is putting on airs or acting as if they are better than others. So this is something day-to-day lives, we meet people also like that. So the idiom "assume as" originates from the French word air, meaning appearance or bearing. So here air, we don't mean wind, or we don't mean the English air. The word air, assume as, air in French means appearance or bearing. That's where the word comes from. Assume as, air in French means your appearance. So assume as, assume appearances. You're faking appearances. You're pretending to be of a higher social standing than you actually are. So this is assume as. And the last one for today, the idiom "all our might and main." So all our might and main means with the greatest possible effort or force. It implies using all available strength, energy, and power to achieve something. That is, all your might, your power, your prowess, your strength, your muscles, okay, everything, your might and main. Main in general means what? The main thing, the most important thing, the biggest component, okay, the main component of whatever it is known as main, the most important, the most valuable, the most, the main part of anything. So your might and main here too, main refers to physical or mental strength, power, or force, okay, this has to do with your physicality. Main can refer to the principal part or the largest portion of something, often signifying the most important part of one's own strength or effort. So let's use all our might and main in winning this competition. Might, that is your dance skills, your your bodily attributes, let's use. And main, what is the main part of your say cricket game? Let's win let's give our might and main to win this cricket game. So might will be your batting skills, bowling skills, your physical strength, right, your stamina, that is your might. Main will be teamwork. You know what, the main part of winning that cricket match is teamwork. So the main principal part or the largest portion of something, that everybody gives it their all, the whole team gives their 100%. So it can refer to, it means the greatest possible effort or force, effort of everyone, and force, your physical aspect of it. So might has to do with mental and physical strength. Main has to do with the largest part, the main portion of something. It can be love, it can be, of course, it can also be your physical aspect also, but it has to be more than that. The main portion of, say, cricket game is your might and main. Your cricket game will be your skills plus your teamwork. Then again, might and main, say in exams, will be your mental and physical strength, and main, that means your honesty, that you study every day, use your time, you know. So might and main. Therefore, when you combine might and main, you are essentially saying that you're using every ounce of your strength and effort to accomplish something. Example, the team fought with all their might and main to win the championship. She worked with all her might and main to finish the project on time. So I hope this is clear. We have completed many idioms which we use in our day-to-day lives, and if you have noticed, I've included alphabetically, right? So these are the idioms with, or the well-known idioms starting with the letter A. In my next section, we will continue with the letters B, C, D, and so on. So these are the few idioms that you can remember. I hope that this video has been of help to you, and if it has been, then please consider liking the video, sharing my videos, and subscribing to my channel for similar content. Until we meet again, I really hope that you stay healthy and happy. See you in the next one, guys.